Even if you won't be diagnosed with cancer, it's likely that somebody around you will. If you provide them with this information, it will save their life. Along with heart disease, it's supposed to be one of the main reasons humans are dying nowadays. With the exception that heart disease is a real thing and cancer is the opposite of what we've been told. It's more or less as big of a conspiracy as the earth being flat. Cancer is actually your friend. All the people that you see around you who are living an unnatural lifestyle, what do you believe is keeping them alive? It's literally cancer. There's people who live with cancer for over 20 years with no ill side effects. Why do you believe it is so? Because, as I said in my video about cholesterol, nothing that your body does is to kill itself. It's programmed to survive. There's no exceptions to this. The actual thing that is killing all the people diagnosed with cancer are the treatments. Doctors are committing mass murder nowadays. It's the hospitals. As I said in my last video, it's not as if they consciously do it. It's that they are misinformed, most of them. If you do live an unnatural lifestyle, for example, you smoke, the cancer is not always simply going to go away, depending on how much you smoke and how strong your body is. But 80% of the time, even if you keep continuing with these things, it will go away like the flu. 99% of the time, it will disappear if you leave it untreated. Simply realize what you're doing, what is unnatural about your life, and I'll talk about this in a second, and then eliminate these things. There's very few exceptions to this, and that is when there's tumors involved, which are in a place that could be detrimental to your health. Places in your brain, for example. In its essence, it's all about adapting. That's what your cells do when they mutate, except that it's really about the mitochondria which is inside of your cells. That's where your energy comes from. And this is something that should be talked about a lot more when we talk about all the modern so-called illness, especially when we talk about cancer though. Why do our cells mutate? Why do they die? Why do we get dead cells? The major cause is inflammation, but I've talked enough about this. Stress. Modern work, for example, simply doesn't work anymore. Jobs such as hunting used to be a fun practice, but how many people enjoy their work anymore? And when you get diagnosed with cancer, there's fear-mongering surrounding it. That's what you will hear from your doctors, and that's what you will learn from the media. And this will create a lot of stress hormones. Then there's DNA damage from grains, gluten, cooked foods, especially the brown, fried ones, vegetables, chemicals which naturally occur in them. I talked about this in the video, Stop Torturing Your Body, and really, stop it. If we were all educated about health, and if the government would want us to be healthy, then we would all understand that healthy mitochondria only works on fat. If you don't feed it saturated fat, you cannot not get cancer. Everybody who eats a high carbohydrate diet by default will have a lot of cancer cells. There is no way around it. No human has been designed in another way, no matter where you live. This is something that should be understood by everybody in the world, and it's not. There's mutated people all around us.
You go up into the longer waves, the television. A Dr. Debbie Ackland wrote a brilliant paper several years ago. They were exactly the same as the microwave transmitters. There were increased cancers, increased suicides, increased children's health problems.
You've got a mobile phone range there at 2,100 megahertz, and a microwave oven is only at 2,450 megahertz.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's not vastly different, and we all know the effects of a microwave oven. If you have a cordless phone in your house, that's 1,900 megahertz.
Yeah.
And Wi-Fi, again, is at 2.4 gigahertz, a similar frequency to
the oven. Wi-Fi itself is a weapon. There is no getting away from that. It is an internationally recognized weapon.
Now, we mentioned ionizing radiation earlier on, and science agrees that anything above ultraviolet is damaging. That's not really...
And ultraviolet.
Yeah, that's not disputed by the government, and,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't put anything...
Right.
They wouldn't put any ionizing radiation in a product generally.
Right.
Well, you maybe got like the thing on your
Okay.
watch or whatever, but,
Yep.
but generally it's considered dangerous and they wouldn't do it.
A document was published on the 1st of July by our government way back in the 50s. It was published and kept secret, but they've actually now said that this non-ionizing radiation can cause biological damage in the body, which is what we've been saying all of the time. So in fact the government are now saying that the non-ionizing down there is as dangerous as the top lot.
Right.
And they cannot say it isn't.
All right.
And that's taken them 46 years to come out with that.
Yeah.
In other words, the problem is missing nutrients, and of course it's not only simply fat. Now that you understand more about those cells, you should also understand what tumors are. Those are catacombs of dead cells. That's where they accumulate. And the reason we are not able to get rid of them is because of a lack of cholesterol. Because if we have a lot of them, and if we are diagnosed with cancer, we should be getting huge amounts of cholesterol. According to Janus Wonderplanets, as long as we eat raw foods with cholesterol, we are able to use the chemical, this antioxidant. Whereas the tests that are done on cooked foods all say that you're not able to use it, and that's simply because it's been denatured. It's not working anymore at that point because you destroy it. The biggest joke surrounding this whole thing is that malignant tumors and benign ones are really the other way around, because the malignant ones are the ones who actually have the cancer, and these cancer cells have mutated to take care of the fucking tumor. They have a solvent to actually get rid of those cells and to heal you, to repair your body. And if you attack them and try to get rid of them, you're getting rid of what's helping you to get rid of the tumor. And the benign ones do not have this, and this is more of a problem, so to speak. If you also lack bacteria and beneficial fungi and parasites, which are really symbionts, then you may also have a problem getting rid of those cells. And then you may get viruses to do the work for you, and they will leave wastewater, which will contaminate your body. If I was diagnosed with cancer, I wouldn't take it serious at all. I would laugh about it. Not as if it's possible on a ketogenic diet, except if you were exposed to radiation in everyday life. Another thing that happens when your mitochondria switch to using sugar as fuel is you make lactic acid. And when this builds up, you destroy the cardiac tissue. So much for heart disease. It's carbohydrates that cause it, if you're not understanding what I'm saying. Plus, people who follow a modern poisonous diet and do sports, especially weightlifting, they will often get sore muscles. Again, lactic acid. People who eat raw fat and meat are not going to get that. I certainly don't. The bottom line is that cancer is a way to get rid of the stupid people. Depopulation. Because when you're diagnosed with something that essentially you don't even have, because you don't have anything that is bad for your health, when you have cancer, you actually have a good thing, because it's something that is adapted to your fucking brainwashed lifestyle. And then you get killed off because you believe it, because of ignorance.